All right. People make fun of me. My own team makes fun of me because apparently sometimes in my videos, I do this. I recently, didn't understand it until we had our awards meeting and they did the faces of Steven and made fun of me for doing it. And literally the video just started and I just caught myself doing it. Boy, I'm disappointed in myself because I was like, I don't do that. But I do. So anyways, let's get into the video. Been saying this for a long time, several months, and even really probably by mid 2025. Just everything was aligning, just because of the slowness of the market, the amount of amount of sellers, that were, taking their home off market, canceling their home, not getting what they want, or couldn't find what they want for the price point. Has set this up for kind of like a perfect storm for spring of 2026. I just witnessed my first, probably, I'm trying to think of the word to use here. I just witnessed like the first of probably many of these scenarios to come. It was my listing. Had it up on the market for a couple weeks. Great listing, a few showings, maybe 6 to 9 showings, something around through there. I'd have to go back and actually look. So a little bit of activity, nothing that was super low, but nothing that was super high, about probably what I would call expected activity. Because again, market's kind of slow. Well, anyways, we actually got an offer yesterday. It was a good offer and we accepted it. So good for my seller. And immediately after accepting, I'm talking within 2 hours after accepting, I had two buyer's agents that showed the home reach out to me. And one of them had showed the home several days ago. One of them had showed the home, I think the day before. And they've had some follow-up questions. We gave them answers. One had questions on the ages of the stuff with the home, which we gave them everything that we knew. One wanted the utilities for the last 12 months, which my sellers are awesome. Went and got that, gave them the utility bills from the last 12 months. And so when it went pending, both of those agents reached out. I was like, hey, Steven, oh my gosh, my buyer is very interested. They were definitely thinking about putting in an offer. How strong is it? Which again, it's a great offer on paper. It checks all the boxes of really what most sellers, what you want, right? It's not cash and no contingencies, but those offers don't really exist anymore. So I told them that, hey, strong offer. It pretty much checked all the boxes, for us. It gave the sellers, everything they were looking for, within an offer and everything we kind of discussed, within an offer. But I got thinking about that, and that's why I'm doing this video. Those two buyers, because they were probably reluctant, they're probably timid, they probably want to make sure they're getting a good deal. I don't know where they were in their journey. Obviously they had agents, but this was a good home. This was a good home. It was priced well. It wasn't no like killer deal, but there isn't really killer deals out there. But it also wasn't like someone overpaying for it either. It was very fair, priced. We hit a certain marketing number, on it, and, we felt that number appealed, and that was where we wanted to be at. But I think that right there is what we're going to see coming up big time in the next several months. Is buyers going to look at home? They try to do this research beforehand and ask all these questions. Here's the thing. This is my message to buyers. Put your offer in contingent on a dang inspection and let that be your due diligence period. Start asking those questions then. Start getting that information in. And if you don't like it, guess what? You're doing your due diligence during the inspection and walk away because of your inspection. Otherwise, you're going to miss the house exactly what these people did. These people literally were trying to do stuff that you probably don't need to do beforehand. And I get it, in a slow market, you can do all this stuff and you don't waste your time. I always see both sides of it. I always try to put myself in everyone else's shoes to think, how are they reacting? What is their train of thought? How are they negotiating, right? So I can kind of best set myself up and best set my client up for success. So I get the thought, but, we are moving into probably a very big shift. Now, again, do I think everything's multiple offers and 20,000 over and no inspections selling in a day? No, I don't think that's the case. But, homes right now are taking forever on the market to sell. Do I think you're going to start seeing more homes move, within a couple of days of listing? Yes. But a good price, in this market, really, I mean, if you got offer somebody full price, and they don't accept it, it's pretty mind blowing. Let alone even a decent offer, like a non-disrespectful offer is basically about full price and asking for closing costs for a buyer. That's where we are now. As the market heats up, that will tend to go away. It's hard to kind of see, because in real estate, you almost like see it in the rear. Like everything I've done, like, man, we didn't know we were in 2021 chaos until like it was kind of like looking back on it, right? Of how chaos it was. But like me seeing this scenario play out where two buyers wanted the home, they missed the home because they basically, didn't put the offer in when they probably should have. I think this is what we're going to see, and there's going to be a lot of buyers miss out. And I remember all the posts in 2021 and 2022. Everybody talk, oh my gosh, people are so stupid for buying 30,000 over. They're paying these ridiculous prices for a house. What idiots? All those people who made those posts are the stupid idiots. Because all those people who bought in 21 and 22, especially early 22, have a 2% or 3% interest rate. And their home is still up, probably even from those dates, 20, 30, 40, 50% up. So the people who was like, oh, I'm going to wait and buy homes whenever the market crashes, right? The market crashed because of fraud, right? And obviously in everything in life, there's always going to be a little bit of fraud. Except in Minnesota where it's complete fraud. But anyways, there's always going to be that, right? There's always going to be con artists and people that work the system. But for the most part, there's checks and balances in the lending process that kind of prevent fraud. It prevents people from getting loans that shouldn't be getting loans for the most part. So that's why I really like, people's like, oh, Stephen, do you help with foreclosures? No, there really aren't foreclosures. Very rarely you're going to see foreclosures. And there's no like deal in foreclosures. If anything, these banks and lenders don't want to foreclose. They have a group of cash buyers that they know in-house. So when something's going to foreclose, they call them and say, hey, on the back end, here's John Smith's number. John Smith's going to foreclose in 3 weeks. See if you can buy him out and then buy him. And so we don't have to foreclose on it, because the person has to do all the paperwork for the foreclose and all the red tape, all the stupid stuff, doesn't get paid any more money. So they don't want to do it. They'd rather not do it, right? So that's why they make those under the table phone calls, and all of a sudden the house sells and it never forecloses. Happens all the time if there's money to be made. Anyways, went off on that tangent, but I'm just saying this because buyers better be ready. You see something and you like it, it checks the majority of your boxes. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. Nothing's going to check all your boxes. It checks the majority of your boxes. You better put your offer in quickly, and you better wrap it up. Otherwise, there's going to be another buyer that come in exactly like this scenario. It kind of come in out of nowhere. They literally finished the show and we got feedback. They're submitting an offer. We had the offer within 2 hours, and we were under contract basically within 2 hours of receiving the offer. That's how quickly it happened. And probably you have two upset buyers that missed out, for whatever reason, because they weren't ready to put in an offer, even though they wanted the home. And I'm making this video now because we'll look back at this video in 6 months and we'll be like, oh, yep. That's how the market was. Now, again, not chaos like 2021 and 2022, but better than 2023 through 2025. You're not going to be able to go see a good home that's priced well and then go home and think about it for 2 days and then on Saturday, wait for your credit union to open to call them on Monday to get a pre-approval to submit an offer. That home will be gone and it will be pending. That's where we're at. But as always, if you have questions, holler.